Hey everybody, welcome to How to Make a Turn-Based RPG on Prpject Spark, Episode 8. I'm pretty excited about this one. In this one, we start fine-tuning our combat system by creating a enemy select system. Right now, we're just going to target our closest enemy, but we are going to change that. The only way you're going to do that is if you are an AI. When team equals team 2, my enemy equals enemy's nearest object, okay? So that's that. We are going to create a new, essentially a new function. It's going to be in a logic cube, and it is going to say, it's going to be called enemy select, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. Enemy select. So a few things need to happen once. Right away, we need to say, let's see, who is our enemy right away? Our enemy right now is going to equal our nearest object, our enemy's nearest object, okay? So it takes this group, checks to see who that group is and who is the nearest one of all that. Then we're going to have a couple variables that we make up. This one's going to be called, let's see, selected enemy, and we need enemy numbers. So let's see, selected enemy equals 1. So we're going to immediately select our near, our enemy number 1, and then the next one is going to be our total enemies. Let's see. Trying to think. Let's not do it like that. Let's start here. We're going to go for each of loop. We're going to say for each of enemies. We're going to say for each of our enemies. How about enemy, we make a enemy number? Did we already? Oh, I was typing that, but I didn't end up finish typing it. That's what we need to do. We need to say its enemy number is going to equal current index, okay? Now this number can change, because if we have 3 enemies, then one of them dies, it's going to go back to 2, and another one dies, it's going to go down to 1. So let's say we have another number called total enemies, okay? So we need to have this number. This will be constantly changing though. Total enemies, which that's the one that I made. Okay, total enemies equals enemies count. So what we're saying here is our total amount of enemies equals our enemies count. For each of our enemies, enemy number equals current index. Now what we need to say is when selected enemy is equal to used to be right up there, is equal to enemy number. So it's going to go through every single one of my enemies, and when selected enemy is equal to enemy number, we're going to say my enemy equals it. Okay, so if my selected enemy number is the same as their enemy number, we're going to do that. So what we're doing right now is basically we're making a small list of enemies, and what we need to say is we need to say when control stick, we're going to say, we're going to say control stick, or do I say, is it just called left stick? Yeah, left stick, but we're going to say right stick is what we choose our enemies with. Or maybe we'll do, yeah, we'll do right stick now, just because it's on the right side of the screen. And we're going to say when right stick direction down, because our enemies are going to count from top to bottom. When right stick direction down, direction, we're going to say we're going to say selected enemy incremented by 1. Then when right stick up direction, we're going to say selected enemy decremented by 1. Okay. Now what we can do here is we can put a started to, that way people can't just cycle through it like crazy. Right, we're going to say started to. Now the problem with this is in a for each of loop, there is no like rhyme or reason to like what order they go in a for each of loop. It's a random order. So we may not actually keep this just because it's going to kind of scatter out our enemies and what their number is. So we can find a better way to do this later. But for now, we're going to try it this way. So we could use a clamp here. The problem with a clamp, though, is it would keep you within those same numbers. So if a clamp, what it does is it says you can only go from numbers 1 to 3, okay? So if I do clamp 1 to 3, that means that I can't go higher than 3, I can't go lower than 1. But what I want to do is when selected enemy is less than 1, so if it's 0 or lower essentially, I want to say selected enemy is now going to equal our total enemies. Let's put this up here. And similar, when selected enemy is greater than total enemies, selected enemy is going to equal 1. Alright, so how do we know when to get this though? So we're going to make this a template. Brain template equals true. Do I also have a function, a small line of code that's going to say highlight my enemy, we'll say red. Okay, we're going to highlight our enemy red, and we're also going to say display the A button. We'll go to objects, gallery picker, up to the little heart here, and we'll say A button, display A button above my enemy. And what we need is we need a line of code that says when A is pressed, we're going to pop this brain back out. Now the question is, when do we push this brain? We're going to push this brain right now. We're just going to do it on the attack function. When A is pressed, right when we get in here, we're going to say push brain enemy select. So it's going to push that brain. We're going to enemy select. Once we press A to select our enemy, it is going to pop that brain out. Let's see if this works. Okay, we only have one enemy. Not a very good way to test it. We will try again. Oh, hey, no, it does test it. But we're going to go ahead and hit restart. We want to see what happens with more enemies. We don't actually end up attacking the brain. I mean, attacking the monster. So we need to figure out why. There's only one monster again, so that's not going to do us much good. But we know that we're not attacking the monster. So let's see. Push brain, enemy select. Let's try putting it here in this one. Push brain, enemy select. Let's try putting it there. We're going to push that brain, and then when we press A, we're going to pop this brain. Okay, cool. We have a couple enemies. Hey, look at that. It works. Let's go A button. Now, it's not letting us do that. And this is why now. I know why now. So we're going to say when once. One time, we're going to push that brain, enemy selected. That actually worked fairly well, though. I like it. We may actually just switch it to the right thumbstick, the left thumbstick. You can switch it to whatever you would like. But right now, it's when we select our attack command. We can cycle between them. We press the A button. We attack. We come back. The other player goes. Now we only have this one enemy. What I want to do is I want to make it so when the enemy dies, they become neutral. We're going to do that. That way you can't target a dead enemy. And that's actually causing a lot of problems. A lot of problems. And it's actually driving me crazy. So when here, maybe in our battlefield center, let's see, do I want to do it here for each of enemies? For each of enemies, when it health, we're controlling our enemies, like this battle zone center controls a lot of our enemies and what they do. When it health is equal to 0, no, is less than or equal to 0, because it could go negative, because we are overkill madness, is less than or equal to 0, do it push brain, and we're going to make a new brain, and it's going to be called reward. So this is going to be on the enemy side. And we're going to make it yellow, because yellow is a pretty color. And just because yellow is gold, I don't know, currency, reward. So we're going to say reward. So it push brain objects in world picker reward. Now, when it gets to reward, we're going to say once team equals neutral, okay? Team equals neutral. Then it'll still run its its death sequence, but it won't count as an actual enemy anymore. So let's go ahead and test this, see what happens. We need to have that as a template also, so it's not running constantly. Okay, the battle begins. So we notice right away our select thing is like freaking out. So that's something that we can maybe fix over time. That's working pretty well though. I really like it. Okay, so what I'm noticing is that the way that shoot is working, we noticed this once before, and I think we tried to fix it, I can't remember, but when the AI shoots, it's not always going to hit our enemy. So shoot at my enemy. Oh, we have this. This did not work. When we'll say this, when projectiles count is increased. So it'll know when we've shot a bullet, when this player has shot a bullet, switch page, enemy turn. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now we have this reward system. I like that. We have all of it. That's a pretty short video, but I like what we've done so far. Let's go ahead and fix this enemy select. What was happening was right away the enemy select was like freaking out. So it looked like it was 0 or something. Selected enemy was 1. Selected enemy equals 1. We'll say, what we'll do is we'll just wait like half a second. Because what's happening is the first enemy, the lower enemy is becoming enemy 1, then the enemy 2 is becoming 1, then enemy 3 is becoming 1. They're changing their number as they're created. So we'll do a countdown timer of, let's say 0.5 seconds. Maybe even less than that. Maybe let's do 0.25. And I feel like this will fix our problem. After 0.25 seconds, it'll display the enemy thingamajig above their head. It'll say A, and it'll highlight them red. Let's check this out. 3, 2, 1. Cool. Cool. And now when I push down, it goes back up. When I push up, it goes back down. Now the enemies do turn toward our... they do turn toward whoever we have selected. Let's test one more thing. Let's test... Oh, hey, that enemy... Oh, there's only one enemy. That's why. So we can't do anything. We keep refilling. What I do want to do is make it so that doesn't keep happening. So in combat, when... we don't need that anymore, I don't think. I don't even know what that was doing. So if you have that line of code, erase it. I'm not sure why we had it there. But I had this charging equals true and health greater than 0 and enemy... Actually, we got rid of this problem. And when health equals 0, you stop charging. Let's see. Well, let's do this way. And enemies count is greater than 0. So you have enemies to attack. So now what we'll see is if at the end of combat, our bars keep filling up. 3, 2, 1. Cool. Still working. That 0.25 seconds might be a little long. We cannot select our other one. Let's see if when that guy's dead, if we can select him. Nope. Cool. So let's see if our bars keep charging up. Nope. All our enemies are dead, so our charging does not happen. That's a good thing. Let's see if when we enter combat, our energy starts at 0. That's another important thing. Okay, yeah, but what we're seeing now is that our battle scene, our enter battle scene is not playing again. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure that we have that enter battle scene and that it is playing. So let's see, where is that? Let's see, is it in here? Where is that? The battle starting. Oh. It's under once. So let's say started to. Yeah, I think started to will fix that. And once we finish this, this will be our final adjustment for this episode. Ooh, a good fight. All right, we're just going to spam the A button. Oh, wow. Apparently, if you spam the A button... wow. Apparently, if you spam the A button, lots of bad things happen. So we're not going to spam the A button anymore. I don't know why that happened, but it did. I want to figure that out. Oh, well, they all just kept charging up for some reason. Oh, you know what? I think it's because here, what's happening is every time it's coming back to this page, it's flipping back there, and then all of this is becoming true. We can't do that. What we can do is this. We're going to come over here. It's because we have that started to there. So we're going to copy this whole page. And we're not going to switch pages because every time we switch pages, that once code is going to run again. And that's just a little bit silly. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this for the next episode. We're going to create a battle starting segment and a battle ending segment. So maybe we'll mess with rewards and experience in the next segment, in the next episode. So anyway, thanks for hanging out. I look forward to fixing this battle starting phase. And I look forward to sprucing this up a little bit. Thanks a lot.